The unexpected assignment. The alarm blared across the Human Space Academy, echoing through the metal halls, the red lights casting long shadows on the cold floors. Lieutenant Ryan Keller rubbed his eyes, wondering why mornings had become so stressful. Ever since he joined the elite human fleet, he had faced simulations, dangerous drills, and extreme survival tests. But today, something felt different. Today was strange. As he walked into the briefing room, he saw the usual group of cadets, some chatting nervously, others staring at the holoscreen displaying galaxy maps and mission details. Commander Hollis stood at the front, her expression serious, her voice sharp as she addressed the room. Attention! Today we are making an unusual assignment. Every human officer will be paired with an alien partner for the upcoming intergalactic mission. Her words fell like ice. Ryan froze. An alien. Partner? He had trained for teamwork, for survival, but never with an alien. Never someone whose thoughts, instincts, and reactions could be completely different. A hush filled the room. Cadets exchanged nervous glances. Whispers spread like wildfire. Ryan's stomach twisted as Commander Hollis continued. Lieutenant Keller, you will be partnered with Kira. She paused, and the holoscreen flickered, showing a figure, a young alien girl, humanoid but with sharp, angular features, her eyes a deep violet, shimmering faintly like distant stars. Her skin had a soft metallic glow, her movements, fluid, almost too precise to be natural. You will need to trust her with your life, Hollis said firmly, letting the words hang in the air. The cadets' murmurs grew louder. Ryan felt his heart pound. Trust an alien with his life? He barely knew her. She had not spoken a word, only stared at him with those piercing eyes. And yet, there was a calm in her gaze, something he could not understand, something that made his instincts scream both caution and curiosity. Kira stepped forward slowly, her voice soft but clear. I will follow mission protocols, she said, and every word seemed deliberate, each syllable measured. Ryan noticed a strange rhythm in her speech, almost musical, unlike any human he had ever met. Yet, there was no hint of arrogance or hostility, only focus. This is not a simulation, Commander Hollis continued. The mission is critical. We are sending you to the orbiting station on Xylon 9. Intelligence reports indicate possible alien threats. You and your partner must infiltrate and secure the station. Any mistakes could cost lives. The room went silent again, the weight of the task pressing down on everyone. Ryan felt a cold sweat on his neck. He glanced at Kira, who remained, calm, unmoved by the tension around them, as if she already knew the dangers ahead. As they prepared their gear, Ryan tried to speak to her. So, how long have you done missions like this? He asked nervously. And Kira's eyes met his, sharp, analytical, yet strangely gentle. I have trained for interstellar missions since childhood, she replied simply. No emotion, no hesitation, and Ryan realized that she was not only experienced, she was efficient, maybe even more than he had imagined. They boarded the small shuttle together, the engine's vibration humming through the floor. Ryan could not shake the feeling that this mission would be unlike anything he had ever faced. Every glance from Kira reminded him that she was not human, and every thought told him he had to adapt quickly, trust quickly, survive quickly, or it could be the end on the way to the docking bay. The shuttle shook violently. Ryan gripped the armrests. Turbulence, the pilot said. But Ryan was not so sure. His instincts screamed danger. He looked at Kira. She remained still, eyes closed, briefly, and then opened, staring out the window. They are watching, she said softly, and Ryan felt a chill. How could she know? There were no sensors showing threats, no alerts, only her words, and somehow he believed them. The shuttle landed on the orbiting station, and as the doors opened, a strange silence greeted them. The corridors were dark, lights flickering, and the air smelled faintly of ozone and metal. Ryan tightened his grip on his sidearm, and Kira moved ahead. Her steps silent, controlled, like a predator or a highly trained soldier. "Remember," Ryan whispered, "we need to stick together." And she nodded once. No words needed. And at that moment, he realized that trusting her would not be easy, but he had no choice. The mission depended on it, and his life, quite literally, was in her hands. As they turned a corner, the first signs of danger appeared. Shadows, moving, sensors triggering. The unexpected assignment had become a deadly reality, and Ryan knew that the next moments would test not only his skills, but also his ability to trust an alien completely, and somewhere deep inside, a small part of him was both terrified and excited. The unknown awaited, and there was no turning back. The first test. The station was silent. Too silent, the kind of silence that pressed against your chest and made every heartbeat louder than it should be. Ryan followed Kira closely, trying to keep his breathing steady, but every shadow, every flicker of light, made him jump. Kira moved ahead with perfect control, almost like she could see the threats before they even appeared. Ryan tried to match her pace, but he kept glancing at her, wondering how she knew where to go, how she stayed calm. As if the danger was nothing more than a puzzle she could solve, the first room they entered was filled with strange equipment. Machines Ryan had never seen, screens glowing with symbols he could not read, and then the lights went out completely, plunging them into darkness. "Stay close," Kira whispered, her voice low but commanding, and Ryan felt a strange comfort, though the fear still clawed at him. Suddenly something moved in the shadows. A low growl echoed through the room, and before Ryan could react, a creature lunged at him, razor-sharp claws glinting in the faint light from the emergency panels. He fired his blaster, but it barely scratched the alien. It was fast, too fast. Kira leaped, almost like she was floating, striking the creature with a precise move that Ryan couldn't even understand. The alien collapsed, stunned, and Ryan felt his jaw drop. "How did you—" he started, but she cut him off. "No time. Move," she said, pulling him toward a narrow corridor. "They will keep coming." "Stay alert." Ryan's mind raced. This was not a simple mission. This was a fight for survival, and yet he began to notice something. Kira's abilities, her instincts. They were unlike anything he had seen in humans. She moved like she could anticipate every threat, every movement, every attack. As they ran through the station, more creatures emerged from hidden panels and vents, glowing eyes reflecting fear and hunger. Ryan fired desperately, but each shot seemed to do little. Each creature seemed smarter than the last, each attack faster than he could handle. "Focus," Kira said sharply, and Ryan realized she wasn't just giving orders. She was guiding him, teaching him, forcing him to trust her completely. "Aim at their legs. Move with me. Don't stop." He obeyed. And slowly, as they moved together, something changed. Ryan began to trust her instinctively, almost without thinking. Their movements synchronized, two minds working as one, and for the first time, he felt a strange sense of power, a sense that humans could survive even the impossible when they worked with beings like Kira. They reached the control room, walls lined with alien panels, lights flickering dangerously, and then a massive alarm blared, red warning lights flashing. The station was rigged to explode, and the creatures were just the beginning. Kira's eyes glowed faintly, scanning the controls. "There is a sequence. We can stop it, but it is complex," she said, and Ryan's head spun. Alien technology, life-threatening countdown, creatures everywhere. He didn't even know where to start. "Teach me," he said, panic in his voice, and she nodded once, turning to him. "Watch closely. Follow exactly. One mistake. We die." They worked together, Ryan repeating her actions, following her movements, copying her timing, and slowly, step by step, the countdown slowed. Red lights turning yellow, yellow turning green, the station, stabilizing, and for a brief moment, Ryan felt hope. But then the ground shook violently. A massive explosion rocked the corridor they had come from, debris falling, alarms blaring, and a new creature emerged, bigger, faster, more intelligent, looking straight at them, like it had been waiting. Kira stepped in front of Ryan, placing her hand on his shoulder. "We survive together," she said simply. And Ryan felt a surge of trust. Stronger than anything he had felt in his life, they faced the creature head-on, moving as one, dodging, striking, Ryan firing his blaster while Kira used moves he couldn't even comprehend. And for the first time, he realized something terrifying and amazing. Humans could survive anything if they learned to trust beings like Kira, beings who were not like them, but worked for the same goal. After a long, tense fight, the creature fell, leaving the corridor. Silent once again, their breaths heavy, hearts pounding, Ryan looked at Kira, and she gave him a small nod, almost like a smile, though it was subtle. "We are not done," she said quietly. "There is more ahead. The mission is bigger than we thought." And Ryan felt a chill, knowing she was right. Knowing that this was only the beginning, and that the trust he had begun to feel for her would be tested far beyond anything he had imagined. As they moved forward, deeper into the station, Ryan realized one thing. This alien girl was not just a partner. She was the key to survival, the key to humanity proving itself in the galaxy, and somehow he knew that together they could face anything, even if the universe itself was against them, the hidden truth. The corridors of the Xylon 9 station were dark and quiet now, but Ryan knew it was only a temporary calm. Every step they took echoed, every breath felt loud, and the air smelled faintly of burning metal. Kira led the way, her violet eyes scanning every shadow, her movements precise, almost preternatural. Ryan tried to match her pace, but he felt his muscles tense, his nerves on edge. The creatures they had faced earlier were gone, but he sensed something worse was waiting. "Something is not right," Ryan whispered, glancing at her, and she nodded. "The station is not abandoned. They are hiding, watching," she replied, her voice calm. But there was a warning in it as they turned a corner. They saw it. Holographic screens flickering, showing human and alien faces, mission logs, security feeds, everything. And Ryan realized with a chill that this station was a spy base, gathering secrets about human fleets, alien races, everything important in the galaxy. "This is bigger than we thought," Ryan muttered. And Kira's eyes glowed faintly, almost like a warning, "We are in danger." "More than the creatures," she said, and Ryan understood immediately. These were not mindless enemies anymore. This was intelligence, cunning, and ruthless strategy. Suddenly, a voice boomed from the speakers, distorted and cold. "Humans and alien traitors. You should not have come here." And Ryan froze, recognizing the language. It was an ancient dialect, one he had studied in simulations but never expected to hear in real life. Kira's hand gripped his shoulder. "Trust me. Do exactly as I say." And he nodded, heart pounding, knowing he had no choice. The doors ahead locked with a hiss, and the floor shifted beneath them. A trap, a mechanism designed to separate them, to isolate, to test them. Ryan reached for his communicator. But it sparked, useless, and Kira moved forward without hesitation, scanning the panel, her fingers dancing over the alien symbols with uncanny precision. "Hold on," she whispered. "I can override it, but it will take time. We must be ready to fight." And Ryan realized this was no ordinary alien. She wasn't just strong, fast, or skilled. She had knowledge he could not imagine. Knowledge that could change the outcome of this mission, maybe even the war itself, as she worked. Shadows moved again, faster this time, but not like before. These were humanoid enemies, armed, disciplined, silent, closing in on them from both sides, and Ryan felt the first real fear of losing her, of failing, of dying here. "I won't let them hurt you," Kira said, almost softly, almost human, and he felt a strange warmth, a connection that went beyond partnership, beyond duty, beyond logic. They fought back to back, Ryan firing while Kira moved like a storm. Every strike calculated, every movement perfect. And together, they made a path forward. But the enemies kept coming, more than they could handle, faster than they could count. Then, in the chaos, Ryan saw a panel flicker showing a symbol he had never seen before, a mark that belonged to an ancient galactic council, long thought extinct, known for controlling planets with fear and power, and his heart sank. The council. "They are behind this," he gasped, realizing the stakes were far beyond anything he had imagined. Humanity, aliens, the galaxy itself, all hanging in the balance, and they were in the eye of the storm, unarmed except for each other. Kira glanced at him, eyes serious. "We survive, or the galaxy loses its chance. Trust me, Ryan." "You must," she said, and he nodded, swallowing fear, holding on to her every movement, every command, every instinct. As they reached the main control hub, Kira accessed a hidden terminal, her hands glowing faintly as energy flowed through the alien interface, unlocking secrets, revealing hidden enemies, exposing the network that had trapped them. "We can stop them, but only if we move together," she said. And Ryan felt the truth of her words, the bond solidifying, a trust forged in battle, fear, and necessity, stronger than any human bond he had known. Suddenly, alarms blared. The station began shaking, violently, and a massive shadow moved across the ceiling. A creature, but unlike the others, bigger, intelligent, with glowing eyes, watching, waiting, calculating, ready to strike. Kira stepped forward, eyes glowing brighter, and Ryan realized something terrifying. This was not just a fight for their lives. This was a fight for survival of something far bigger, far more important, a test of humanity, of trust, of courage, and Ryan understood, right there, that trusting her was the only way forward, the only way to survive. And maybe the only way to save more than just themselves. The shadow lunged, and Ryan felt adrenaline like never before, knowing that this battle, this moment, would define everything. And as they moved as one, human and alien, he felt the first spark of hope in the darkness, the spark that could ignite a war, a revolution, or a miracle. And in that moment, Ryan knew the hidden truth. The alien girl he was forced to trust was not just a partner. She was the key to everything, and together they would have to prove that humanity, when united with others, could overcome the impossible. Betrayal in the shadows. The control hub was in chaos. Alarms screaming, lights flickering, smoke curling from damaged panels. Ryan's hands shook as he tried to keep his blaster steady, but his eyes never left Kira, who moved with calm precision, like a storm contained in a single body. "We need to disable the Council's network," Kira said, her voice low but urgent. "If we fail, their army will know exactly where humanity's fleet is. We cannot let that happen." Ryan nodded. But a strange feeling crawled over him, something he could not name, a shadow of doubt. And then he saw it, a figure in the doorway. Humanoid, familiar, stepping forward with a gun raised, aiming directly at Kira. "Stop!" Ryan shouted, but it was too late. The figure fired, and Kira barely leaped aside, energy crackling as she struck the intruder with a move that sent them flying across the room, crashing into a console, sparks flying. Ryan froze, recognizing the face. It was Commander Velen, his former mentor, the man who had trained him before the mission, and yet here he was firing at them, eyes cold, unrecognizable. "Velen, why?" Ryan asked, disbelief and anger mixing, his blaster raised, but his hand shook. "Humanity is weak," Velan spat, voice harsh. It always has been. Trusting aliens, trusting outsiders. You are pathetic, Ryan. You will fail. And he raised his gun again. Kira stepped forward, eyes glowing, and Ryan felt that same surge of trust he had felt before. He underestimates you, underestimates us, she said, and Ryan knew she was right. The fight erupted. Velan moving with skill Ryan had never seen outside of training simulations, blaster fire ricocheting off walls, energy sparks flying, Kira striking with precision. Ryan dodging, firing, following her lead as they fought. Ryan realized something terrifying. Velan was not just a human traitor. He had been enhanced, augmented, modified, something that made him stronger, faster, more deadly than any human. Should be. He's not just here to stop us, Kira yelled. He's here to test you. Prove your worth. Ryan's heart pounded, sweat blinding his eyes, fear clawing at him. But then he remembered everything he had learned with Kira. Every trust, every instinct, every move, and he fought back, moving in sync with her. Each attack, calculated, each defense precise. They cornered Velan near the main console, but then the lights flickered again and a new threat emerged. Automated defense drones, glowing red eyes scanning, aiming directly at them, programmed to eliminate anyone who interfered with the Council's network. Kira's eyes widened slightly. We must split up. I can handle the drones, but you need to stop Velan from escaping with the data, she said, and Ryan felt his stomach drop. Knowing that splitting up meant facing near impossible odds, he nodded, fear threatening to freeze him. And as he moved toward Velan, he realized something shocking. This mission, this betrayal, this moment. It wasn't just about survival. It was about proving that humanity, when united with others, when trusting even the impossible, could fight back against. Betrayal against overwhelming odds, against fear itself, Velan sneered. You will fail, just like every human before you. But Ryan ignored him, focused on the task, and in a sudden burst of courage, he lunged, disarming Velan with a quick move he had learned from watching Kira, taking him down without killing him. At the same time, Kira moved like lightning, disabling the drones with precision. Energy crackling, fire and sparks everywhere, the room shaking violently, and for a moment everything felt like it could collapse, like they could die at any second. But then it stopped. Silence falling, broken only by their heavy breathing. Velan groaning on the floor, drones deactivated, and Ryan realized for the first time he was not alone, not weak, not powerless. He had survived, not by himself, but with her. The alien girl he had been forced to trust, the partner who had become more than that, a comrade, a teacher, a friend, a lifeline. Are you all right? Kira asked, and Ryan nodded, feeling a bond stronger than words, stronger than fear, a bond that could face anything, even betrayal, even impossible odds, even the Council itself. As they caught their breath, Ryan looked around the control hub, knowing the mission was far from over, knowing the Council's secrets were still out there, knowing the galaxy's fate hung by a thread, and he realized one undeniable truth. Trust, courage, and teamwork could change the course of history, even against enemies who seemed invincible, and as they moved deeper into the station, Ryan felt a chill, knowing that the final test, the ultimate challenge, was waiting for them, and that nothing would prepare them for what came next. The ultimate test. The station trembled as Ryan and Kira moved through the inner sanctum, every step echoing like a heartbeat. Heavy, urgent, full of dread, the air was thick, metallic, charged with an energy that made Ryan's skin tingle, and everywhere he looked, shadows shifted, moving as if alive, watching, waiting. We are close, Kira whispered, her eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. The Council's core. Everything ends here. Ryan swallowed hard, fear gripping him, but he nodded, trusting her completely now, trusting the alien who had saved his life more times than he could count. Trusted her with not just his life, but the fate of humanity itself. Suddenly, the floor beneath them cracked, a deep rumble shaking the station, and massive creatures like nothing Ryan had ever seen emerged from hidden chambers, armored, glowing, with intelligence in their eyes, not just beasts, but soldiers of the Council, guardians of their secrets. "We can't fight them all," Ryan gasped, panic rising, but Kira shook her head. "We don't have to. We have to be smarter," she said, her hand glowing as energy formed around it, a shield of violet light that shimmered and pulsed. They darted forward, weaving between attacks, dodging claws and energy blasts, Ryan firing when he could, each shot precise, each strike guided by instinct and training. But it was Kira's movements, her knowledge of the creatures that kept them alive as they reached the Council's core, a massive console glowing with symbols older than any planet Ryan had studied. A voice boomed, distorted, cold. "Humans, aliens, you are insignificant. This galaxy belongs to the Council." Ryan stepped forward, heart pounding. "Maybe we are small, but together, we are stronger than you know." Kira nodded, and together they interfaced with the console, energy flowing from her hands, Ryan assisting, inputting sequences he barely understood but trusted, guided by her knowledge, guided by their bond. Then a massive shockwave ripped through the chamber. Valen reappeared, enhanced even further, glaring at them, furious. "You think you can destroy what has controlled galaxies for eons? Pathetic humans." But Ryan didn't hesitate. Not now, not after everything. He moved, fighting not just for survival, but for trust, for courage, for every human who had ever been told they were weak. And he realized something amazing. He was not alone. He was stronger with Kira, stronger than he had ever been. They fought together, moving in perfect sync, Ryan dodging, striking, guiding, Kira shielding, attacking, commanding energy like a storm, and with a final push, they overrode the Council's system, releasing a pulse that deactivated the Guardians, neutralized the drones, and sent Valen crashing to the ground, powerless, defeated. The station shook violently, alarms fading, and as silence fell, Ryan and Kira stood together, breathing heavily, looking at each other, knowing they had done the impossible. They had survived, they had trusted, and they had won. "We did it," Ryan whispered, disbelief and relief mixing. We really did it." Kira smiled faintly, almost human, almost tender. "You trusted me." "That was the key," she said, and Ryan felt the weight of her words, the truth of their bond, the power of trust and unity. As they exited the station, the stars stretched endlessly before them, the galaxy alive, vast, and full of possibilities. Ryan realized something he would never forget. Humanity was not alone, not weak, not insignificant. And when humans and others stood together, when they trusted each other, they could face the impossible and win. And for the first time, he felt hope, real, burning hope, that the galaxy could be a place where courage, trust, and unity mattered more than fear, control, or power. They looked back once at the station, now quiet, dormant. The Council's power shattered, and Ryan knew their journey was not over. There would always be new threats, new challenges, but with trust, with courage, with allies, even from other worlds, humanity could face anything. And in that moment, Ryan understood the ultimate truth. The alien girl he was forced to trust had become his partner, his comrade, and the symbol of humanity's strength. And together, they had proven that even against the greatest odds, humans could rise. Humans could fight, humans could win, and the galaxy had never seen anything like it.